Good Friday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversation Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Well, we made it to the end of another week. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Friday. We have a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. And in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you'll be part of my conversation with Hollywood manager and publicist Ramon Hervey discussing his new book, The Fame Game. You don't want to miss that. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Friday headlines. In national news, judge orders unsealing of redacted affidavit in Trump search. A judge ordered the Justice Department on Thursday to make public a redacted version of the affidavit it relied on when federal agents searched the Florida estate of former President Donald Trump to look for classified documents. The directive from the U.S. magistrate came hours after federal law enforcement officials submitted under seal the portions of the affidavit that they want to keep secret as their investigation moves forward. The judge set a deadline of noon today for a redacted or blacked out version of the document. The order means the public could soon get at least some additional details about what led FBI officials to search Mar-a-Lago on August the 8th as part of an investigation into classified documents being retained at the Palm Beach property. Documents already made public as part of the investigation show the FBI retrieved from the property 11 sets of classified documents, including information marked at the top secret level. Search warrant affidavits typically contain vital information about an investigation, with agents spelling out why they want to search a particular property and why they believe they are likely to find evidence of a potential crime there. In this case, though, the redactions proposed by the Justice Department are likely to be extensive given the sensitivity of the investigation and unprecedented nature of the search, lessening the chance that the public will receive the detailed glimpse of the basis for the search or the direction of the probe. In his order on Thursday, the judge said the department had made compelling arguments to leave sealed broad swaths of the document that, if disclosed, would reveal grand jury information, the identities of witnesses and uncharged parties, and details about the investigation's strategy, direction, scope, sources, and methods. But the judge also said he was satisfied that the government has met its burden of showing that its proposed redactions are narrowly tailored to serve the government's legitimate interests in the integrity of the ongoing investigation and are the least onerous alternative to sealing the entire affidavit. In more national news, insulin cap for Medicare patients signals hope for others. The passage of the expansive climate change and healthcare bill this month delivered key Democratic priorities to voters months before the midterm elections, including provisions to lower healthcare costs. As a result, by 2026, Medicare will gain the power to start negotiating costs for pharmaceuticals, and its beneficiaries' out-of-pocket prescription costs will be limited to $2,000 starting in 2025. But the most immediate relief will take effect in January, when the cost of insulin for patients on Medicare will be capped at $35 a month. The provision, a long-standing priority for Democrats, will bring relief to an estimated nearly 2 million people across the country who currently pay an average of $572 annually out of pocket for insulin, according to a recent analysis by the Kaiser Family Foundation. In more national news, rapid rainfall floods buildings and highways in Deep South. Weather radar showed heavy rainfall Thursday in parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and in the Florida Panhandle. Several flash flood warnings were issued, and the Mississippi Department of Transportation reported water covering highways Thursday from the central part of the state down to the Gulf Coast. Flowing water washed away part of the state highway in rural Newton County between Jackson and Meridian. After Wednesday's deluge caused creeks to overflow, law enforcement officials carried toddlers out of a flooded daycare center in Florence, Mississippi, south of Jackson. The Rankin County Sheriff's Department posted video on Facebook of deputies walking through brown, knee-deep water to take children to an elevated truck, placing them gently on benches. Rankin County Sheriff deputies also helped more than 40 residents out of a flooded nursing home Wednesday in nearby Brandon. In international news, Putin orders troop replenishment in face of Ukraine losses. Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered a major buildup of his country's military forces Thursday in an apparent effort to replenish troops that have suffered heavy losses in 6 months of bloody warfare and prepare for a long, grinding fight ahead in Ukraine. The move to increase the numbers of troops by 137,000 or 13% to 1.1 million by the end of the year came amid chilling developments on the ground in Ukraine. And finally, in business news, Wall Street rallies as countdown to Fed speech nears end. Stocks rallied on Thursday as the countdown clicked closer to zero for a highly anticipated speech about interest rates. The S&P 500 gained 58 points, or 1.4%, to 4,199 for its best day in nearly 2 weeks. Much of the lift came late in the day as traders made moves ahead of Friday morning's speech by Fed Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, which has long been circled on Wall Street's calendar. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 323 points, or 1%, to 33,292. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's on time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Friday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. Life is all about living. Do not miss out on the opportunity to live your best life today. Have an amazing Friday and enjoy your weekend. Hollywood manager and publicist Ramon Hervey speaks in today's Entertainment Spotlight. We're here on Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with Entertainment Spotlight. Hollywood manager and publicist Ramon Hervey joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about his new book, The Fame Game. Here's a bit of our conversation. So I wanted to focus on a very particular part of the book in this conversation with you, Mr. Hervey, and that is the idea of fame itself, because we hear that word thrown around so much, fame, being famous. What has that been like for you to be able to talk to especially young people about the idea of what fame is?
Well, I'm not out there preaching about it, to be honest. But in the book, I explain my philosophy on it. And again, I think my sense of fame is it's not a destination; it's an accolade. So, in order to become famous, you have to become successful first. And if you look through the history of the words, they are two different things. Fame is a sense of entitlement that you get when you're successful. And, it can be very destructive. It can be very influential. It really depends on how you treat it, how you respect it, how you honor it. But it's also very fleeting, and most people aren't going to be famous throughout their whole life, whether they get 15 minutes or not. So I think you have to be grounded and have a sense of what do you do with your life when you're not famous? What do you fall back on? Because it's not going to sustain itself. And so I think those are the lessons that I think young people have to understand is when you invest in the idea of becoming famous, what are you really investing in? Are you investing in yourself? Are you investing in the idea that you want to be entitled and you think that if you become famous, you're going to get all this money and people are going to be kowtowing to you and doing everything? It really depends on your mentality and what you hope to achieve.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this edition of Conversations Daily News. Prepare to guys on Monday with more news, message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and of course the Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversation Daily News today, and let's go make it a great one.